Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss the market pump on the back of tariff delays. We're going to talk about Elon Musk's new party and support for Bitcoin. And we're going to talk about a new leader in the clubhouse for Launchpads. Let's BONK making some moves. Before we start off today, we had a little intro song today. We had Drake mentioning BTC and his new song. Did you you hear that one before today, Easy?
I heard it over the weekend. Good song. A little bit of a I'm down this week, then I'm up next week. Let's go.
Let's go. Is this the top for Bitcoin? Drake in a Drake song?
It very well could be. Very well could be.
You know what made me nervous about Bitcoin tops was looking at Kicks. He had a tweet yesterday about the basically the level of activity on the Bitcoin network versus Bitcoin price historically. And this one is like a very scary chart if you take this as correlation. So essentially what we're looking here is at the mempool transaction count versus the Bitcoin price. And the end of each cycle has seen just this catastrophic drop off of the mempool in terms of number of transactions like waiting. And we've seen that now with Bitcoin. Basically, ever since we hit the previous all-time high, we've basically fallen off a cliff in terms of mempool transactions.
Well, most of the mempool transactions are just happening from like treasury companies, right? Like that's where it's kind of shifted.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot of activity. Like we saw like heavy activity after the halving with like runes and stuff. There's like a lot of mempool activity then. But now like we're seeing multiple blocks go unfilled. So like, I mean, miners still get their rewards for like completing the block, but they're losing pieces of like transaction fees essentially for this. So interesting to see, keep an eye on. We are seeing like a number of blocks, like we're scrolling through mempool.space right now, seeing a number of blocks that just aren't filled, empty blocks going through as well. Like some of these blocks only have like 30 transactions, which is pretty wild to see.
That is wild. So can we make designs on the blocks now by ourselves?
Yeah, you can. We can do like real cheap, like 4 megabyte images. We can inscribe a Bodoggo onto Bitcoin potentially.
That would be sick.
Yeah. We're gonna kick the show off with a weather report in a minute here. I'm gonna send Easy this handy dandy weather report. But before we do, we're gonna talk about our partner for today's show, Gemini. Did you know that your credit card points and miles could lose value due to inflation while they collect dust? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption values of your points and miles. Imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value. With Gemini Credit Card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Gotta love no fee on a card. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight into your account. Plus, if you sign up now, you get $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards. Sign up now, bodoggos.com/Gemini. If you're looking for an easy way to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, this is the way to do it. Get yourself a nice orange card. These things are pretty cool. Good benefits. Bodoggos.com/Gemini to sign up today. I'm going to be applying for this very shortly. Essentially, just had an offer accepted on a house, so I need to get that mortgage through, and then I'm going to get myself a nice Gemini card.
Huge.
Yeah, love it. That being said, Easy, let's kick this off. Let's do a little weather report, and then we'll get into this. There's a lot to talk about today.
Absolutely. So we got a lot to talk about today. Monday, July 7th, looking over at the crypto roundup. The majors are up over the weekend with Bitcoin over 108K, ETH at 2550, Solana at 151, Hype just under 40, and BONK just gig ascending. Elon Musk took to Twitter to announce the formation of the American Party. When asked if he would embrace Bitcoin, Elon responded, "Fiat is hopeless, so yes." Ray, you spelled yes wrong. You put a T instead of an S. It happens. Next up, it was a huge week for the Let's BONK Launchpad as they flipped Pump.fun in market share and fees generated. The first time ever that a Launchpad has had the flippening Notable token movers include BONK up 60% over the weekend to 1.8 Billy Vanilli in the Lentz BONK meme coin up 5x over the weekend to a 15 milli Vanilli market cap. And finally, an ancient, mysterious Bitcoin whale holding over 8 Billy Vanilli worth of Bitcoin woke up and moved funds to new wallets. Dum dum dum. Some believe the owner's keys were compromised, while others believe the owner was just upgrading wallet addresses. None of those actually hit the market. They were just transferred. Obviously, we did see some negative price action when that first broke and news hit the scene, as many rushed for an exit, worried that 8 Billy Vanilli would be hitting the market here. Dum dum dum. Back to you in the studio, Raymond.
Excellent weather report as always. Yeah, we definitely saw a sell-off there. We were like up in the 110 range. Sold all the way down to 107, but like going down to 107 on a sell-off for an $8 billion whale worry is like feels giga bullish to me.
I mean, dude, the whole market just feels very bullish. The one thing that doesn't feel bullish is actually the Solana chart.
Really?
Yeah, it pumped to 160 on the ETF news and retraced that entire candle and more.
Interesting. You pull that up?
Yeah, let's take a look. So if we take a peek-see here, trading view, boom, boom, super charts, boom, boom, add me. Here we go. So obviously we have the rate chart up. Rate chart looks good. Sol, look at this. So this was the wick for the ETF. You gave back that entire candle and some here. Not what you want to see. Not what you want to see.
I just looked up at the graphic from.
But yeah, so this was the wick high right here, and it did give back all of it and made a new low. So like that's bearish to me. Where now you still have like a receding wedge here, where this next move will be pretty important. So basically like hold 135, which is what we want to see. You have decent price here. Over 145 is good, but you want to move up like very badly and sooner than later. Like that's it. Sorry, that was the longer term frame. If we looked here, I got a lot of drawings on this. So I'll remove that, remove this. This is short term on the daily. You have this. 163 was where we wicked. Obviously, it gave it all back. If we go down to the hourly, it looks significantly worse. So you have that whole retracement right there, which is not good. So I want to see us get back above, like, honestly, 153 would be where I'm like, okay, this is good. 155 would be great, but you're getting lower highs each time with a slightly higher low. So you do kind of have this wedge right here. I'm a little bit nervous just because, like, you were hoping that we would get a break above and a hold above. But right now we kind of have this wedge that we're sitting on. And you either break here to the upside and get us back up to 165, or you retest here and could break down. So I'm kind of closely watching Sol because that's like the bigger thing here for me is if we don't get any sort of price action on either side of that, I'm a little bit nervous, you know?
I feel you. It feels like we've been in sideways summer, but without a lot of pain. Like,
yeah,
we continue to like hover and kind of make new, like almost like a local lows on Bitcoin where we're like testing new bottoms. It just feels like we're due for one of those like retracements that like shake some people out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of how the market goes. Like, you are going to have retracements, right? Like, that's not uncommon. What I'm slightly worried about is just the lack of buy pressure that we got there, if that makes sense. Like, you need more sustained buy pressure for the market to just show that it has like belief in something there.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because like if you ask people if they could get $150 Sol back in January when Sol was up near $300, like they would have been like, yeah, I love this. Like I'm a full porting Sol at 150, and you're just not seeing that buy pressure now after like maybe some people think we hit like Pico top on Sol with the launch of the Trump meme coin. So definitely concerning. While we're talking about Solana though, like Launchpad war is heating up. Let's BONK absolutely dominating. What happened? What caused this?
I mean, I think it was the rally of useless coin, right? Like useless coin was like the big win there, where so many people saw that and were just like, okay, what's the next exposure that I can get? And it's probably BONK. And then they started to realize like, oh, all these fees being generated in turn give me more money. Like if you buy BONK, it's going to make price go up. So the higher these BONK coins go, the flywheel that plays into it is basically just more BONK buy pressure on the Launchpad equals more BONK buy pressure on the token, because there's a split of a certain pool of the allocation that goes, I want to say it's 30% GP and 70% BONK. And they're making a ton of money now.
Yeah, my question is, I understand the flywheel portion that's sending the price of BONK, GP, potentially Raydium. What I don't understand is why people are putting volume into these charts versus Pump.fun. Like, what's the incentive? Are there incentives for trading these?
There's Raydium incentives, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So, like, I guess that's kind of the flywheel. There's Raydium incentives for trading Let's BONK tokens.
Yeah, but then it's also just like if volume's showing that it's on Let's BONK tokens and those are moving higher and people are speculating that these BONK whales are going to be supporting charts, then that's what we want. Like you want speculation, which is leading to more volume and more launches. Let's BONK had more token deploys yesterday than Pump.fun, which is a big win just for like a competitor. And I'm not writing Pump.fun out. Like, dude, Pump.fun has caused some insane volume. We've seen a lot of speculation. The Pump.fun token's still coming. So like you can't really write them out. You know what I mean? Like that's the other thing is like some people are like, oh, Pump.fun's dead. It's never gonna come back. Not at all, but I think this is like the best thing for the trenches because now there's clearly a competitor and Pump.fun can't stay stagnant.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that jumps out at me looking at this chart, so I'm looking at top performers on Let's BONK right now, tokens ever launched. Almost all of these coins are like at least 3 weeks old when I'm sorting by market cap. So like the newest coin, 7 days, Lucky Coin at 6 million. There's some Chinese coin at 3 million, and America was launched yesterday at 2.4 million. So a lot of the runners and a lot of the big tokens are essentially like old tokens that have just kind of continued to get volume.
Yeah, or come back and started to get volume, right?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Like, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because like there's still a lot of volume across the board on it. Yeah, and then like you also have like the BONK ETP, which if you're familiar with is like an exchange traded product. So I think people are also like speculating just on the underlying price that there's more to it than just this. So I don't know. I think the older tokens also are just like better dilution as far as like disparity across holders, which is a big part of it. You have more people across the board that feel more comfortable buying into those things that have shown resilience and existed.
Let's talk about the story of Saviour. This was one of those Launchpad coins. I saw you tweeting about this. I don't know the full story here, so I'd love to be caught up on what happened here.
That one was fun, if you want to call it fun. So basically what somebody did was they launched this token based on an old Pump.fun meme or an old Pump.fun tweet. The old tweet said, like, we need a savior for the Solana trenches like BONK. I think they posted this tweet back in, let me find the tweet. Yeah, they posted this tweet back on the 27th of April 27th. We need a BONK level savior to turn this market around. And this was actually before the Let's BONK Launchpad. So it was kind of like, you ask and you shall receive, right? So that was kind of the funny part was like Pump.fun made this post and that led to somebody then launching Saviour, BONK level Saviour, and buying 98.3% of the supply on the bonding curve and sent it directly to Unipix's wallet, so BONK guy's wallet. He then received that. Its peak was worth $300 million. He sold $200,000 of it, stated, I'm selling this. Reason being is I want to put it into useless and also defer more people doing this exact same activity. So he burned 98.3%, which was the same percent he received based on percentages. So he burned 98.3% of 98.3%, which left him with 0.07%. And what he did with that was he sold it and bought into useless coin.
Interesting. I was reading this one. I read this post. So, yeah, essentially what he did was he sold a ton of this, basically saying, hey, if you're sending me tokens, I'm not just burning them all. Stop doing this because I don't want you to do it. I'm going to sell some of it and nuke your chart to an extent. Please don't do this, essentially. But then he also, like, what he sold, he basically put back into the ecosystem.
He didn't take any profit on it. He bought the useless and then burned it. So he did not buy useless token and like keep it for himself as his P&L. He bought 200K worth and then just immediately burned it. So basically he burned 100% of the supply. He just used part of the liquidity pool to then take out some of it and burn useless, which he's way more bullish on.
Interesting. Yeah, it looks like Saviour might have hit a bottom here. It looks like it went down all the way to 300.
I think the lore's good. I'm not buying it. I'm not trading it, but I do think there's like interesting lore behind it because it was like the message from Pump.fun's still up, so it's like that is like what I think is more interesting. I think this thing could have ran even without BONK being involved.
I think I agree. I'm interested in this. I might take a small flyer here. 500K seems like there's good risk reward, especially if the Launchpad continues to run. I wouldn't mind putting a couple soul into this one.
Yeah.
Anything else that stood out from you? Do you want to like chart maybe Raydium or BONK and like give some levels that you're looking at where these can end up? Because I know both are basically highly correlated to the success of Let's BONK. Since I know Raydium is where all the tokens graduate to. We talked about Raydium being like a good play with the Pump.fun era until Pump.fun basically opened their own LPs and Raydium kind of took a nosedive there. But with Let's BONK flipping Pump.fun, it kind of opens up that thesis again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Raydium thesis is still there. The charts aren't anything like I don't feel like charting it personally. BONK's pushing back up, but I don't know like levels wise. It's tough just because I am kind of short the market right now. I don't know. I think we have some slight pullback across the board, but I think BONK basically, in my opinion, if they continue to maintain 30% of market share, I think it can 2x here, even from this range, just because it's like Pump.fun raising at 4 bill, BONK at 1.8. I do think the Pump.fun token actually surprised a lot of people and moves up versus so many people basically saying like this token's going to go down. So I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit more interesting to me. Yeah, I don't know. There's like a lot that I'm kind of like torn on as far as like what I want to be getting into. Raydium's the most interesting though, for sure. Wow, look at this guy. Look at the steward himself.
What's up?
I like those glasses. They're like the same style as mine. Are you trying to copy me?
Yeah, no, they're my wife's, dude. My eyes are like incredibly inflamed. You see that?
Yeah. You're smoking too much pot?
Not even, dude.
You're out there smoking ganja?
Probably pink eye, just from sniffing your ass, dude.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh man, how you feeling? How was your weekend, Kicks?
It was good, man. Had a good fourth, good time overall. Yeah, so I'm doing good. I saw we had like a little Sunday pump, pulled back a little bit with markets opening today, but felt nice.
Yeah, I think basically is it just tariffs getting delayed easy, or like what were your thoughts?
Yeah, tariffs delayed till August now.
Yeah, August 1st. This is the first time I've seen the stock market in extreme greed in a while too. We're looking pre-market.
Yeah, so that's like kind of a concern.
Yeah. Crypto has been sitting neutral for like months now. It's just been living in like the neutral range in terms of fear and greed. But stocks have been in greed and now into extreme greed. So I'm worried a pullback in equities could see us pull back a little bit too. Yeah, crypto fear and greed has been like, pretty much
chilling.
Chilling in this 40 to 60 range for a while. Briefly into greed, briefly into fear over the last month, but not too much there. But yeah, stocks on the greed side. So we'll see what happens there.
You want a scary chart? Just if you want a little fear porn.
We brought it up. Or is it this one?
Oh, you did already?
Talked about it first thing on the show.
Okay. Yeah.
What does this mean to you, Kicks?
I don't know. I mean, what I do know is that structurally, if more and more people trade Bitcoin via ETFs or similar vehicles, that won't reflect in meme pool transactions, right? Because like once BlackRock like buys a bunch of Bitcoin and like custodies it, right? It's not like it's buying these all of the time. If anything, right, like they're like OTCing a lot of transactions, right? And probably the underlying Bitcoin's probably never moving, right? Like if someone already has Bitcoin custodied via Coinbase, right, and then like BlackRock buys from them when they need to, we're not going to see that in the meme pool. I just thought this was super interesting. Like I wish I had seen this in 2021, right? Because you see like the meme pool activity on Bitcoin or mempool, sorry, not meme pool, just completely dies off, but it dies off like, before that last leg, summer into November of 2021. And then it dropped off a cliff. So I don't know. I just thought it was like super interesting because it, in 2017, the price dropped with the mempool dropping off. In 2021, the mempool dropping off was kind of a leading indicator, and now we have the mempool completely dropping off, and prices doing like a similar leg to 2021. The difference though is it's not like completely dead. Like in 2021, we were getting like 5,000 transactions a day. You see, it's a little bit more like choppy now. Like we have these like spikes where we do 10K or whatever. And I mean, it also makes sense. Like people are, if it's more expensive to transact because the underlying price is more expensive, people are going to be like less,
Yeah, that makes sense. I think part of it, I think the nail on the head is the ETF. So BlackRock has $80 billion, $80 billion in assets. They have $75 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they're doing a ton of volume that maybe otherwise would have been on chain. And they're only doing like 3 Bitcoin transactions per like workday, or essentially like it's basically Coinbase to BlackRock or something, or BlackRock.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So when they're doing only a handful of these transactions,
they're taking all of this volume and then they're doing one big transaction, taking all this volume, doing one big transaction.
And that's represented by a single small little square on the mempool, because like the amount of Bitcoin you're sending in a transaction doesn't really like affect the size to that.
Yeah. Extent. And we've never, I don't know. I don't remember how it was in 2013 or whatever before 2017, but we've never had it like die in summer. It's always been a Q4 blow off top. So, even if you were scared about this, I think, selling now would be too early. And there's so many positive structural catalysts to offset this. And also, English has kicks, but this time it's different. And there's also, all of the just adoption that the blockchain is getting in general with like Robinhood's L2 and data. It was interesting because someone was talking about the mempool transaction count being low, and I'm like, let me pull up like they were just showing like the 6 month chart, right? And I was like, let me pull up the all-time chart. And I was like, jeez, holy shit.
Yeah, not great. Yeah. Counterpoint though to it dropping off in summer is like people could say like, hey, the cycle started 3 months early with the ETFs coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
A quarter early. So like,
yeah,
could be a quarter early on the end of it. But I don't feel that way personally. I think this is almost entirely due to the ETFs.
Yeah, and it would be such like a like weak die off. You know what I mean? Compared to what we've seen before, where like usually it's kind of it's like what we felt in January. That's usually like a top feeling. It's like everyone's euphoric. You're putting 10K into an altcoin and it's skyrocketing to 40K in 2 days, and you didn't even pick a good one, right? You're mad because you didn't pick the one that was pumping more. So
you're live on a stream and you ape into a meme coin, you 5x and you buy a crypto punk.
Exactly. That's more like top signal stuff.
Wait, that happened.
Yep, that did happen.
Local top signal stuff, dude.
Kicks, we literally did that, dude.
I know, dude. That was a good time, man.
I miss those times. We'll never have them again.
Yeah, they will, dude.
No, dude.
Time's a flat circle.
I mean, the earth is flat.
Speaking of big events that could cause catastrophic disaster, we saw a Bitcoin whale holding over $8.6 billion worth of Bitcoin on Friday move their money. some people were saying this is a hack. There was a transaction done on Bitcoin Cash that looked fishy, and essentially like went through why it could be a hack. And then Arkham came out and basically said they believe that it's basically upgrading their Bitcoin address from a 1- address to the BC1Q addresses.
I
None of
hate
this
when the
people-
BC1Qs get us every
Yeah,
time.
I honestly, this is above my my head on what's going on here of why this potentially matters. Maybe it has something to do with like security, cryptography, how secure these addresses are over time. But
Yeah, I think when this wallet was created or this Bitcoin was made, there was no like seed phrases at the time.
gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, so
There
maybe
was just
it was like-
BC-6s or something, right? No QIs.
Yeah, it was like pre all of that. Also, someone said that it could be like transferring to take a like loan out, right? Like proof of like, okay, consolidate all your funds into this address, and then we know it's you moving the funds or whatever. And then, because if you got $10 billion, man, you can probably get a pretty juicy loan on that, right? You can get a nice, cool $1 billion loan from a bank for that. Some people were speculating it was Roger Ver,
I saw that.
Bitcoin.com CEO, also dealing with some USA legal bullshit. They're saying like he's an expat, right? He like left the US and paid his like exit tax or whatever. And I think now they're trying to criminally charge him, saying he didn't pay enough taxes or he hid some of his assets or some shit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's some diamond hand ass shit, dude, to hold that much stuff. I even like, it was interesting to read into it because like some people were saying that like at the time, like this was so early on that there wasn't even exchanges, right? Like when this Bitcoin was acquired, it was like there wasn't even like Mt. Gox or anything. So like a lot of like BTC transfers or like buying and selling stuff was like over the counter. And people were saying like it was almost impossible to like buy this much Bitcoin, right? Like the people that were like really bullish on Bitcoin this early were just like mining and stacking it, right? They weren't, so there wasn't like this big market. Point being is that they're saying that this person couldn't have just came in and been like, I want to buy 10,000 Bitcoin. Like that amount of liquidity on the OTC markets didn't exist. So whoever this person was like mining it, or like a group of people mining it or something early on, or Satoshi, or the CIA, or who knows. Maybe choose rich.
Dude, it was definitely for security reasons that they moved it to these what I wouldn't describe them as post-quantum wallets. It's not clear that the entire Bitcoin blockchain is post-quantum at this point in time. There's still some work to be done, but it is more secure.
Perfect.
It seemed very clear to me that that was the case. Yet everyone else is speculating on this because it's good content.
Did they transfer this on the 4th of July?
Yeah, it was to prove a point, to let us know that America's fake and the dollar's dead.
Independence
Hoorah.
Day, dude. That's a sign. Doing it on that day, that's sending a signal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when
that's
you're
like
worth
saying
$10 billion,
American party.
yeah. When you're worth $10 billion plus, you're thinking about that kind of stuff. You're like, I'm sending a message.
Also, I love the $1 billion just like YOLO sends. No test transaction, no nothing. Just 1 billion. Send it to the new wallet.
Yeah, if I'm sending 20K, my like nuts are in my stomach for the duration. Like I moved some stuff around just to get on a cold storage setup, and Bitcoin transactions are slow, dude. So you're just sitting there for 30 minutes being like, I hope it was all right.
Yeah, a little extra prolonged anxiety there. Welcome to the show, Nick. How you feeling? How was your 4th of July weekend?
It was good. Enjoyed the fireworks
Nice.
and did a little bit of coding.
Hey, there we go.
A little
I
cocaine.
saw you
Wow.
teasing some code
A
updates.
little bit of coke.
Yeah, I've been just doing cocaine all weekend. It's crazy.
Hell yeah, brother. America.
Like baby Billy.
Has anything caught your eye in the markets over the weekend? We had a little bit of a pump. We have tariff delays. We talked about the Bitcoin whales, Elon Musk's new party. What are your thoughts right now on crypto?
Hates it.
I mean, it goes up and it goes down, dude. And I'm waiting for it to go up higher.
Love it.
And I'm hoping that it goes up higher soon. Like, I don't like when it goes down. And that's one of the I spend a lot of time thinking about that, Ray. About things going up and down.
Right.
And I'm just like,
Yeah, you do.
okay. Okay, dude. That was inappropriate.
All right, thank you for that insight, Nick. Next thing I want to talk about, the drama going on with the TAN UAE global visa.
Drama?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fake.
Yeah.
It's fake?
UAE denied it. Yeah. So Toncoin said they launched a 10-year UAE golden visa. You stake $100,000 worth of TAN for 3 years and pay a one-time processing fee of $35K. This compares to a $540K real estate or fixed deposit, non-refundable fixed deposit entry for their golden visa. But after Telegram released this information, their CEO confirmed it. It's on their website. UAE came out and said this is not true. These are false reports, and they know nothing about this. Essentially,
This is a classic. Like it didn't go all the way up the food chain kind of thing. They're talking to some middle manager at the visa thing. He's like, yeah, he's the biz dev guy over there. Yeah, great. Let's do this, blah, 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 blah. This absolutely blows up. And now their boss is like, what the fuck, man?
I mean, that's pretty embarrassing. So
I support pay to play.
So
We're doing it in the USA. You can buy a visa here now. What's it, 10 million?
No, I don't think. Is it 10 million?
10 or 100.
hey, there's something. Yeah, I'm not sure what the gold card is. I can take a quick look.
I think it's 10 million.
$5 million gold card visa might never happen, is what the Washington Post is saying before asking me to subscribe.
I hate that, dude. Just what a legacy dinosaur. Take it out back and shoot, right?
The golden visa stuff's still up on top.
Are these liberals just trying to take the money out of our pockets? I mean, come on.
The
Come
fucking
on.
mainstream liberal media.
Oh my God, the liberals are trying to take it out of our pockets.
It's Jeff Bezos, dude. It's not even liberal anymore.
The Republicans are putting it back in our pockets. Am I right?
Hell, man. Yeah. No tax on tis, baby. Power to the people, dude.
Dude, I mean, we got to just, while we're running out of money, we got to keep giving it away.
Amen, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's just bankrupt things quicker.
Like
How
how
many
Let's hand out some more food stamps while we're at
How
it.
many people are like, yeah, that was like a bill I was excited about? I don't understand how government works. They just throw shit together and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do work for 2 weeks and then we're just gonna take off for vacation.
It's a great job.
What a setup! And it's like, not only are we gonna take off for vacation, first we're gonna rape and pillage our government.
Oh my goodness.
You get to do whatever you want if you're a congressman. You can insider trade. That's encouraged. It's awesome. It's the coolest frat in America.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous the way that they're going about this. Just raping and pillaging.
I love it.
So what's the raping and pillaging? It's the beautiful bill.
Yeah, did you pay attention to it at all? I'm just getting clicking from Easy's thing. I'm muting him. It's just.
I think I heard I'm getting a discount for having kids. So I'm ecstatic. I'm furthering the human race. I deserve that.
Are you?
I think so.
Well, I could move back to New York and save $40,000 a year.
Why?
Thanks to the salt tax
Salt?
reduction. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes from 10 to 30,000 or 10 to 40,000, which means suddenly the savings that I was getting from coming down to Florida is borderline offset.
But I thought that was only on mortgages, or is that just in general?
No, it's also your income tax.
Yeah. Well, now the blue states can stop complaining, saying we send more in taxes. Now it's fine. Now it's balanced.
Well, for 20, what year are we in? 2025, 2020. I think it ends after like 2026.
It's a good way to get the bill through, though. It's a little bipartisan handshaking right there.
Salt tax 10 to 40K in 2025, 1% increase through 2029.
Sorry, reverse in 2030. So you have
It's never going to go back down.
2025.
That's why everyone hated Trump. That's really the reason. The salt tax in 2018.
Well, I got fucked by it living in New York. I got completely screwed. And that I just watched all my taxes go up substantially. But now suddenly being in New York doesn't cost more from a tax standpoint.
So it sounds like we're helping all people out, not just bartenders.
Yeah, but why are we giving the like? I feel like
we're getting Trump accounts.
People figured out how to make it work, and now we're just like, yeah, let's get more money back. Let's
Stimulating the economy, dude. What, you like high taxes? You piece of shit.
I mean, I think it should go towards paying shit.
What is it going towards, man? Nothing. Nothing you pay in federal taxes you'll ever see back.
Well, right now it's going to pay interest.
Yeah,
because we keep spending.
We should stop paying that. We should tell them we should just clear our debt, hit the reset.
Be like, sorry guys, you don't get your money back.
Hey, guess what? Someone's always a sucker.
Well, Jerome Powell would lower the rates. We could refinance cheaper.
Yeah, that guy's a bozo, dude.
Every single day, he'll eventually lower them. Dude, imagine just being Jerome Powell, waking up at the president's just calling you a dumbass every single morning on Twitter.
I think it's badass that Trump does that because that's what I would do. I wouldn't sit there and be all cordial, begging him. I'd be like, "Hey, idiot, time to make some moves with your little private bank conglomerate created in 1913, sketchy ass shit." Andrew Jackson said he fought the banks. He closed the banks down. He's like, no, a country dies as soon as a central bank starts running its finances. And what they do? They sunk the Titanic. All of a sudden, a couple years later, what's happening? Woodrow Wilson, fucking dumbass, or who was it in 1913?
I've completely lost the thread here.
Yeah, Woodrow Wilson, little motherfucker, piece of shit, passed that law. Yeah,
what are we
shitty ass
talking
president.
About?
Yeah, they sunk the Titanic, dude, and then they were able to do the central bank.
How are your cousins doing?
Kurt with a comment here. Easy's like, y'all got this. I'm done.
I'm telling you guys, you got to know your history.
Kix is a fan of this bill.
What, the big beautiful bill? I'm kind of indifferent on it. I don't love it or hate
Sounds
it.
like
I think
he's
it's
a fan. Sounds like he's a fan.
What are the negatives on the bill?
What are the negatives? That we add $3 trillion of debt.
Okay. What'd you think was going to happen? Man?
Yeah, that sucks. But then you just buy Bitcoin, right?
Okay, but that's not a government. What?
I mean, Nick, we got to go back to 1970 when we went off the gold standard, fucked everybody over. That's why the middle class, that's why the rich get richer, because inflation is the hidden tax, man. So like, unless you got a time traveling machine to go back to 1970 and say, we're not doing this fucking gold standard, we're not getting off the gold standard. We're not doing that because it's going to destroy America. It's going to tax everybody with a hidden tax. It's terrible. People are like, why don't things get cheaper in life? You know how much advancements we've made in agriculture? Corn should be 10 cents. It's $1, okay? Because they've taken everything away from us, okay? McDonald's used to be healthy for you.
We don't need more corn and wheat.
McDonald's used to be healthy for you.
Yes,
you
we
know
do.
why it's not anymore? Because to keep the prices down, they had to put poison in it.
More brick, more ore.
Kix is passionate about things that don't matter. Ray is confused why it matters.
I'm not confused at all. If we're gonna
You sound
ramp up the
pretty
national
confused,
debt,
Ray.
we're gonna see a spending crisis in the U.S. Just more money into Bitcoin, and you're gonna be okay.
Everything I said is true, man. It's just facts.
Hold on one second. So do you care about what we spend money on, or what the government does?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but Ray also knows he can't change it, and they've been fucking us over for a long time. They're going to keep fucking us. So might as well, in the words of Marshawn Lynch, I know I'm going to get got, but I'm going to get mine before I get got, though. So that's Ray's philosophy. He says, I know I'm going to get got, so I'm going to get my Bitcoin before I get got, and that's how I'm going to stop myself from getting got, though. Okay? Marshawn Lynch knew about that, what, 15
Marshawn
years ago?
Launch? Now
Yeah,
it's
dude.
Launch? Went
Yeah,
from
dude,
Lynch
he's
to
launching a
Launch?
meme coin.
All right.
You want a curveball, Nick?
What's the next subject, Ray?
You want a
We can
curveball? I got a
talk about
curveball for you before the next subject if you want it.
I don't need any curveballs.
We've got Pudgy Penguins. Big announcement, kind of going under the radar. Mythical Games. They did NFL Rivals, pretty big game on the blockchain. They announced Play Pudgy Party. I think this is a battle royale coming out this summer on mobile, iOS, Android. Pudgy Penguins mobile game coming out. I think this is pretty interesting. They continue to make waves. They have their ETF. They have Abstract coming out with maybe a TGE this year. So my question is, we've seen a bit of a run on Pudgy Pengu, the meme coin. Any interest at Pengu in these levels or Pudgies in general?
Make the NFT go up, dude. That's all I care about. Shit.
You still holding your NFT kicks?
Yeah, it's Easy's fault.
1.3 bill on Pengu right now.
It's Easy's
From a
fault.
bottom of 271 mil back in April.
That's a nice trade. Easy told me to hold my Pangu. I should have just sold sold my Pudgy and bought Pangu. Never hold it when they get a new hoe in town. Never hold the old hoe when the new hoe comes rolling it.
Yeah, I think the rule is for like big airdrops like this is just like sell. You'll have an
Yeah.
opportunity to buy back lower. Might not
Yeah,
come
I
right
would
away.
be richer if I did. I mean, I sold my Pangu well. Still hasn't touched my selling prices. So happy
Do you
about
tell
that.
the host that?
Nah, I'm married, dude. I don't have any of them.
Okay.
Keep it straight, dude. I believe in God. One of his commandments, thou shalt not commit adultery. And you should not envy your neighbor's wife. So you can't even think about them.
Is that a
Unless they're-
situation
unless
you're
they're-
dealing with right now? You got a hot
Unless they're
neighbor?
unmarried, then you can look at them, but you can't touch.
Kix is really focused on that one.
Which one? Don't commit adultery? It's number 4, I'm pretty sure.
No, not about coveting your neighbor, basically.
Neighbor's wife.
Neighbor's wife. So are you
And
dealing
your
with the
neighbor's
hot
goods.
Neighbor's wife? Is that what
And
you're doing?
God obviously said women are important because he could, back in the day, they just combined that into goods. God said, no, women are important. They get their separate commandment. Don't cover your neighbor's wife. Don't cover your neighbor's goods.
You didn't answer the question, which only increases my feeling that your neighbor is both has cool things like got a new truck and has
And a
a
boat.
hot wife.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Bible said that lust is the only sin
Talk to
that
us
you have
about
to
your neighbor,
always
though.
run away from.
Tell us about your neighbor, though. We're curious here.
BLA said there's always at least one neighbor with a hot wife.
Is this the neighbor who thought AI coins were going to zero, and they gave you a good entry on AI XBT? And the other one, I remember that video you posted a while ago.
I don't remember that, man.
Better memory
Probably.
than you on your own content.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate that.
All right, so we didn't really talk about Pengu. I don't think anyone cares. So we're going to move on to World Liberty Financial is beginning to trade pre-market. They put a proposal forward that they're going to make their WLFI token tradable, trading at 15 cents right now pre-market, $800,000 of volume here. I'm trying to look up the tokenomics to find out total supply to get a market cap on this. But I believe this is trading at like 1.5 billion.
Wait, what was the entry on that? Remember, we could have bought this.
We could have bought this.
Would we be up?
50 billion token supply. $6 billion market cap. I'm not sure if we'd be up or not.
Okay.
I still need to do that math.
Yeah, get better next time.
I may do that math today. But yeah, so this is interesting. This is going to start trading. If it's trading at a $6 billion market cap, that's going to sit this thing. I mean, it's 6 billion FTV, so it's hard to know exactly, but probably top
100 for sure.
Yeah.
I could give a shit.
I don't think
or
I'm
less
touching
of a shit.
I don't think I'm touching it personally, but it is interesting with their ties to like the Trump administration. Like I'm assuming they're going to be getting favorable regulation and deal flow.
Yeah, let's just say if World Liberty Financial was a bank, I wouldn't put my money in it. It just sounds, the name doesn't sound legit.
Easy just nodding along. He's not even talking. I don't think he's talked in the last 20 minutes. Just responding.
He's probably made a couple $1,000s on meme coins right now. So let the boy cook. Game recognized game for real.
For real.
Did you hear about
went long bonk this weekend though? And let me tell you,
I heard, dude.
I bought some bonk.
Absolutely. Yeah, I 10x leveraged it, and you know.
I heard ICOB said you're in the
did.
bonk cabal.
Of course, Easy went out, 10x leveraged it, closed his position after he 3x'd it, put in $200,000, so only made 400 grand.
No, it wasn't that much. It was like 38 grand.
That's good though, man.
Whatever.
I'm happy.
I mean,
You're going to
it just
be
made
an
sense,
investor
dude.
in my next
Bonk
business.
volume was like going view, and I was like, oh shit, okay.
View.
Yeah, so I went on Hyperliquid, opened up a nice collateralized leverage trade, and I closed all of it.
Oh, I forgot you can. Yeah, you can do that. You're helping the Hyperliquid bags. They add a little volume to the game.
Oh, dude, I've done in the last 7 days. Let's check how much volume. I've done like an absolutely unacceptable. Last 14 days, I've done 17 million volume on Hyperliquid.
That's awesome, dude.
It's bad.
That's
I've been
hot.
trading a lot. Yeah, Perps have been good
like
to me,
it.
man. Perps have been good to me. I've been scalping these ranges pretty well. Perps feel good. I just got to be careful because I don't want to up my bet size on stuff because that's how you nuke the account.
Yeah, don't need that.
I want to up my bet size, $17 billion or $17 million in volume.
Right. Monsieur LaFlame says, talk about the suit market. Have you guys talked about that yet? You know about that?
I
can you
do
explain
know
this to me,
about
Kix?
this.
Yeah,
So,
I can.
Kix, explain how this can settle that way because we also saw the same thing happen with the Dodgers game. I believe it was Giants Dodgers or Astros Dodgers. Astros won like 18-1 and it resulted in Dodgers win. How does that happen?
Talk about this, Kix. Why don't you give an overview about the Zelensky suit thing? This is on Polymarket. Why don't you just give like a brief explanation of what's happening here?
Cool. And then I'll hit Easy's question because Easy want to know about the Dodgers game. They're both kind of comparable.
Correlated.
Yeah,
Right? Correlation.
Yeah. So will Zelensky wear a suit before July? So this market, long story short, Polymarket like set the rules that basically like a credible source of people saying that he wore a suit will resolve it as him wearing a suit. And some news websites like BBC say that what he wore was a suit. You can pull up what he wore. It's more of a suit than what he's wore previously. I would not. Nick is a suit guy, or at least has been around a lot of suit guys. I'd say Nick would probably say it doesn't exactly look like a suit. You know, it looks like a overcoat.
Well,
the
blazer is a legit blazer. Is he wearing jeans? So, like, what are the pants? It's also weird. A black shirt. Yeah, I mean, he's trying to go for style.
Now, the controversy is in how the resolution process works at Polymarket. So how it works is that anyone can bond, put up like $1,000 and propose. So you see outcome propose yes. They can put up a bond, propose it as yes. If nobody disputes it, then the market resolves as yes. And then the proposer gets a little bit of money back. So it was disputed. Then the outcome was proposed as no. It was disputed as well. What's supposed to happen now is it goes to an UMA protocol vote. So UMA is supposed to be like the decentralized resolver. But the tricky thing with UMA is it's just whoever owns the most UMA tokens has a huge say in how the market's going to resolve. So there's a little bit of a conflict of interest, because if a bunch of people, UMA whales, can go in and be like, oh, we're going to resolve this as yes or no, and they can front run kind of what they're going to do, or if they already have a position, they can push for that position to resolve. The tough thing here for Polymarket, right, is that they're trying to be, or appear to be, like decentralized with resolution. It's kind of weird though, because like Polymarket creates the markets, Polymarket runs the club, Polymarket runs the website, but then they're like, we want a decentralized process for resolving this, versus, like a Kalshi, they just have a team that resolves it, right? So part of that is like a problem that Polymarket is dealing with. Is like, and this is a tough problem to solve, right? Like, how do you get people to decentralize, in a decentralized way, resolve markets, right? And do it fairly without manipulation. It's not an easy thing to solve. So they're in a little bit of a pickle with this. The bigger thing that I would step back and say is that there are certain markets that tend to have these issues, right? And you need to factor that into your risk assessment when you go into said markets, right? Because, like, for example, who won the presidential election? You don't really have to worry about
Joe
that
Biden.
as much.
Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala, exactly. She won. But other markets that are like, I've seen these happen before. If the outcome could be murky, it's often going to be murky on Polymarket. And there's often, not always, but there's often going to be drama. So you just got to factor that in to like your kind of risk reward on these markets. So that's what happened with this market. Now, there was another market that Easy was talking about. And this is an example of a market that should just be clearly resolved, no issues. And that was that the Astros won the game, and a bot proposed that the Dodgers actually won the game. And no one disputed it. Now, AE News is a very controversial guy. For liberal purposes, I will not say any more, but I'm not surprised that it was AE News bot that's involved in this. That's all I'll say. Anyways, he proposes that the Dodgers won the match. No one disputed it, and so it resolved as the Dodgers winning the match. Now, in this case, Polymarket refunded everybody on the Astros side.
Wow.
So Polymarket took like a $200K hit or whatever. Because this is a clear case where it's like, no, there's no ambiguity here. Like,
Incredible.
the Astros actually won. But yeah, this all boils down to the same thing, which is this tricky, convoluted, semi-decentralized, semi-not decentralized resolution thing for Polymarket. Whereas on Kalshi, they just have some guy working there that said, okay, the Astros won, click Astros, boom, resolve market, right? No problem, right? So this is the little tricky part about crypto decentralization, yada, yada, yada. My whole thing is like, if Polymarket just says we're going to start resolving these markets, I think it makes it better. Like, I don't think it makes it worse. And you just need to know when you go into these markets that are murky with resolutions that sometimes, they're going to say it wasn't a suit, or they're going to say it was a suit. Don't bet on those markets if you don't want those levels of risk. But yeah, it's not an awesome situation. I'm sure this is probably one of the top priorities of Polymarket, is how to solve this.
Yep. The Dodgers one's wild. I actually sent that to friends who are like some pretty big sports bettors, and they're like, how did that happen? I was like, well, it's decentralized. The site doesn't make decisions. People submit them, and no one challenges when they're like, well, it sounds like you need centralization.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you had a bot that just sat there and listened for these kinds of things to happen, you could have disputed it and you would have won the $1,000 bond.
Right.
You would have won the $1,000 that AE News put up on the market to sneak through. But obviously someone was like, hey, no one's really checking these things, so I'm going to try to send in a dummy, buy a bunch of 1 cent shares and make a bunch of money. So yeah, the exploiter ran away with 60K in the Dodgers market. If you look into the people behind, well, it happened. It's kind of sketchy. But yeah, so Polymarket's dealing with a little bit of shit. I'm sure they'll get through it though.
Yep, good explanation.
Hey, thanks for that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's an issue because I've seen other disputes and other claims that like the whales are manipulating markets on Polymarket. So that's something we have to watch pretty closely.
Yeah, and it's only happening in markets where it's like murky. Here's an example. Okay, there was a market that was did the U.S. destroy Fordow or whatever, the nuclear site in Iran, right? And that went all the way up to 90% and then went way back down. And because that's, you got to think about the nuance of that, right? Does destroy mean, did they destroy the whole thing? Did they destroy the nuclear capabilities, right? Did they destroy a portion of it? So like, you just have to know with these prediction markets, if you're going in and you're betting on, who's going to win a game or who's going to be the president, you don't have to worry about that stuff, but you really got to read the rules on certain things to be like, hey, this is a subjective thing. And yeah, the big elephant in the room is that the UMA whole thing is not really, working out great.
I just want to know if they went nuclear.
I actually lost on the nuclear facility being destroyed. It resolved to yes. I took no.
It ended up resolving to yes.
Yeah.
Ray took a lot of L's.
Speaking of taking a lot of L's, that's the end of today's show. Thank you all for listening on a wonderful Monday. We'll catch you later this week. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple. If you listen back on podcast, you can watch us on YouTube, see what we're talking about in real time. Thanks again for